Red emergency lights pulsed through the Galactic Defense Command Center as Lieutenant Lily Harper's tentacles moved swiftly across the quantum interface. Her compound eyes widened with each new data stream flooding in from the outer defense grid. Something was terribly wrong. "Admiral on deck!" The loud announcement cut through the chaos of blaring alarms and frantic personnel. Admiral Mark Chandler strode into the command center, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming beneath the flashing red lights. 4 decades of military service had left him covered in battle scars, his shell now resembling a mosaic of war stories. He wasted no time with pleasantries. "Report," he demanded. "Lieutenant Jordan Willis, sir." Lily's voice quivered, a mix of confusion and excitement creeping in. "Our quantum sensors are picking up well. Nothing. That's the problem. Grid sections 7 through 13 are showing complete sensor dead zones. It's as if chunks of space have just disappeared." Chandler's mandibles clicked, irritated. "Dead zones don't move, Lieutenant. Show me the pattern." The main holographic display flared to life, revealing a vast section of their defense grid. True to Lily's words, black voids appeared and vanished across the screen, shifting in a manner that defied all natural laws. Curious, Chandler leaned forward, his antenna twitching. "Run a comparison with all known cloaking signatures." "Already did, sir," Lily replied quickly. "No matches with Vorxali Tech, Zythori stealth drives, or even the experimental Igthar Dominion designs." She hesitated, her tentacles twisting nervously. "But there is one possible connection." Chandler's compound eyes narrowed. "Spit it out, Lieutenant." "The pattern matches old reports about the human ghost ship, the Phantom." The command center fell silent. Even Commander Ethan Davis, the usually chatty strategic intelligence officer, stopped his endless stream of probability calculations. Chandler let out a bark of laughter, a sound like grinding crystals. "The Phantom? That's a bedtime story used to scare young Zal Tharn. Next, you'll tell me humans have figured out how to bottle black holes for fuel." "With all due respect, Admiral," Commander Davis interjected, his wings buzzing slightly, "there have been 16 confirmed sightings just in the past solar cycle, all from reliable sources." Chandler's crystalline fingers drummed against the command console. "Reliable sources? You mean the same ones who claimed humans had developed faster-than-light coffee makers? Or perhaps the ones who swore they saw a human ship phase through a planet?" As if in response to his skepticism, the holographic display flared with new data. The dead zones were moving faster now, forming a clear pattern as they headed straight toward the Arcturus defense line. "Sir," Lily's voice rose in pitch, "energy readings are off the scale. Whatever it is, it's dropping its cloak." The command center's main viewport shifted to show live footage from the defense line. Space rippled like heat waves over desert sand, and then, as if being painted by an invisible hand, a ship materialized. It was beautiful in a terrifying way. Sleek black hull plates that seemed to absorb the starlight. No visible weapon ports, but its lethal presence radiated from every curve. Smaller than their capital ships, yet its very presence made their mighty dreadnoughts look like children's toys. "By the first Queen's eggs," Chandler whispered, his usual sarcasm gone. Commander Davis's probability matrix began spitting out data faster than he could process. "Sir, the ship's design doesn't match any known human configurations. But the energy signature, it's definitely human in origin. Far more advanced than anything we've encountered. But human? Impossible." Then, one of the other officers spoke up, though his voice lacked conviction. "The humans were centuries behind us in weapons technology. Their ships were primitive compared to ours. This can't be..." The mysterious vessel hung in space like a predator, silently sizing up its prey. No communications, no aggressive movements, just waiting. "Orders, sir?" Lily asked, her tentacles hovering over the battle station's controls. Chandler stared at the ship, memories of past human encounters flashing through his mind. They had always been resourceful, unpredictable, and annoyingly lucky. But this was something entirely different. "Send out a standard identification request," he ordered, straightening his posture. "But keep our weapons hot and shields at maximum. Something tells me we're about to rewrite our intelligence reports on human capabilities." As the identification request was sent out, Chandler couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The humans had always had a knack for surprises, but if the Phantom was real, who knew what other myths about their abilities might be true? The answer, he suspected, would either fascinate or terrify him, or perhaps both. The briefing room buzzed with nervous energy, as Commander Davis connected his neural interface to the holographic system behind him. Admiral Chandler and the command staff stood by, waiting impatiently for the intelligence briefing to begin. Computer, access file Phantom X937. Authorization Thorax Prime Alpha, Davis commanded. His antenna twitched as data streams filled the air. What I'm about to share has been classified at the highest levels. Most of these reports were dismissed as sensor malfunctions or mass hysteria. The first hologram materialized, showing a merchant vessel with its hull scarred by weapon impacts. 3 cycles ago, the trading ship Starweaver reported an encounter in the Carina Nebula. They claimed a black ship appeared from nowhere, disabled 2 pirate cruisers, and vanished before anyone could get a clear scan. Merchant tales, Admiral Chandler scoffed, but his crystalline fingers gripped his console tighter. They'll say anything to avoid admitting they lost cargo to pirates. Perhaps, Davis replied, bringing up another image. But what about the Thraki's Third Fleet? 12 warships, including 2 dreadnoughts, reported the same Phantom vessel during the Battle of Prion. According to Fleet Admiral Nix Krell, and I quote, "The human ship phased through our defense screen like it was made of smoke. Our weapons passed straight through it, and then it proceeded to disable the engines of our flagship with technology beyond our understanding." Lieutenant Lily Harper raised one of her tentacles. But the official report had chalked up that incident to a mass hallucination caused by radiation from a nearby pulsar. A convenient explanation, wasn't it? Davis's wings buzzed with barely contained excitement, just like the official explanation for what happened to Research Station Omega. The hologram shifted, displaying a once proud scientific hub, now floating lifelessly in space. Research Station Omega housed our most advanced anti-human weapon prototypes. Davis explained security footage showed nothing. No ships, no boarding parties, but witnesses reported seeing a black vessel, which appeared for precisely 2.3 seconds. When it vanished, every weapon on the station had been rendered inert. The cafeteria replicators, however, had been reprogrammed to serve only human coffee. That last detail drew nervous laughter from the officers gathered, and even Chandler's mandibles twitched in what seemed to be amusement. "Here are the facts we know," Davis continued, pulling up a list of key data points. The ship is roughly 300 meters long, though its exact dimensions seem to shift between sightings. Its hull absorbs all known scanning methods. It can apparently phase through solid matter, though some theorize it actually bends space around itself. And most importantly, in every confirmed encounter, it has never caused a single casualty. Admiral Chandler leaned forward, clearly skeptical. "Never. That can't be right. What kind of warship never kills?" "One that doesn't need to." Davis's voice dropped to a lower, more serious tone. "In every encounter, the Phantom demonstrates overwhelming technological superiority and then leaves without inflicting any permanent damage. It's as if they are studying us, or perhaps teaching us a lesson." The hologram shifted again, showing a compilation of sensor readings from various encounters. "Our best xenopsychologists believe this is a deliberate strategy. The humans are showing us that they could destroy us at any time, but they choose not to. It is both a warning and, perhaps, an invitation to reconsider our relationship with their species." Or, Lieutenant Jordan Willis suggested, "they simply find it amusing to toy with us." "That is also a possibility," Davis admitted, his wings buzzing slightly. "Human humor has always been difficult for our species to comprehend. But there's one more detail that every witness agrees upon. The ship bears a name written in human letters that glow with an impossible light. They say it changes each time it's seen, as if the ship itself is playing with its own identity." Admiral Chandler stood, his crystalline form catching the light. "And what name is it showing now, Commander?" Before Davis could answer, Lieutenant Lily Harper's voice cut through the tension. "Sir, the Phantom ship is transmitting again." The message flashed across every screen in the room. It was short, simple, and somehow worse. "Knock." Did the most advanced warship we've ever encountered just make a joke?" Chandler asked, his voice a mix of disbelief and resignation. "As I said, sir," Davis replied, his wings buzzing faster, "human humor is difficult to comprehend, though in this case I believe we are expected to ask, who's there?" The room fell silent as everyone stared at the message, wondering if the humans had somehow turned warfare into a cosmic joke, and perhaps with even more concern, if they were the punchline. No one in the command center dared to respond. The tension was broken by the sudden wail of proximity alarms. "Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace," Lieutenant Lily Harper announced, her tentacles dancing over the controls. Pirate signatures, a lot of them. Admiral Chandler's crystalline form straightened. 37 vessels, mostly corvettes and frigates, but I'm reading 3 heavy cruisers. Raiders from the Vrothar faction. Wonderful timing, Chandler muttered. Status of the Phantom? Still holding position, sir. No change, and Lily's compound eyes widened. Sir, the human ship is transmitting again. The message flashed on the screens. Mind if we help? We've been wanting to demonstrate our capabilities to a proper audience. Commander Davis's wings buzzed with excitement. Did they know the pirates were coming? Were they waiting for this? Target lock, Lily shouted. The pirates are targeting both us and the Phantom. Energy signatures indicate they're charging weapons. Admiral Chandler clicked his mandibles. Deploy the fleet in defensive formation Delta. Power up all weapon systems. Let's see what our mysterious human friends can... He never finished the sentence. The Phantom moved. One moment it hung motionless in space. The next, it was among the pirate fleet, moving with impossible grace. No acceleration, no engine flare. It simply was there. By the first queen, Lily whispered, the legends didn't do it justice. The pirate fleet opened fire. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes tore through space. The Phantom didn't dodge. It didn't need to. Every shot passed straight through it, as if it were made of smoke. Sensor analysis, Chandler barked. Impossible to get a clear reading, sir, Davis reported, his probability matrices struggling to make sense of the data. The ship seems to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. It's both there and not there, solid and intangible. The humans have somehow weaponized quantum uncertainty itself. The Phantom's response was devastating in its elegance. Beams of light, too pure and perfect to be natural, lanced out from invisible ports. Where they touched pirate ships, systems simply stopped working. No explosions, no hull breaches, engines died, weapons fell silent, but life support continued to function perfectly. The human ship is systematically disabling the pirate fleet without causing a single casualty, Lily reported, awe in her voice. Their precision is, it should not be possible. A Vrothar cruiser, easily 4 times the size of the Phantom, continued firing, but it was no match for the human ship's overwhelming capability. The Phantom's size attempted to ram the human vessel, but the ship let it pass straight through its hull. Then, tendrils of light, almost like flowing mercury, extended outward. The cruiser's hull remained unscathed, yet every weapon and engine on the ship was transformed into abstract sculptures, frozen in time. They're not just disabling them, Davis observed, his voice calm but pointed. They're humiliating them, showing us just how far behind we are. In mere minutes, the entire pirate fleet hung motionless in space. The Phantom had reduced one of the most feared raiding forces in the sector to a group of lifeless hulks, without causing a single death or hull breach. Then, a new message appeared. Taking care of that for you. Feel free to arrest them at your leisure. But you might want to hurry. We've reprogrammed their food replicators to serve only kale smoothies. Admiral Chandler stared at the message for a moment, then at the disabled pirate fleet, and then back at the screen. Commander Davis, what is kale? Davis's antenna twitched as he responded. It's a human vegetable, sir, known for its nutritional value, though it's a bit controversial. Controversial how? Chandler inquired, intrigued. Let's just say, sir, that forcing someone to eat only kale is considered a mild form of punishment in human culture, Davis explained, his voice matter-of-fact. The Phantom moved once more, this time executing a series of maneuvers that would have torn any conventional ship apart. It looped and spun through space, leaving trails of quantum distortion behind it. Each movement appeared to bend the very fabric of reality. They're showing off, Davis muttered, realization dawning. This entire encounter, the knock-knock joke, the way they casually disabled a pirate fleet, these impossible maneuvers, it's all a demonstration. But of what, sir? Lily asked, her voice full of curiosity. Of how far behind we are, Chandler replied, a mix of awe and worry creeping into his tone. Every report we dismissed, every sighting we explained away, every rumor we mocked, they were all true, and probably downplaying it. So, the Phantom halted its dance, once again hovering before them, its black hull flickering in and out of existence, appearing real yet not real at the same time. A final message blinked on the screen. Thanks for letting us crash your party. For your records today, we were operating at about 2.3% of our full capability. We look forward to more diplomatic interactions in the future. P.S. We fixed your cafeteria replicators too. You're welcome. Then, without a flash or any dramatic flourish, the Phantom simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, and the next it wasn't, vanishing as if it had edited itself out of reality entirely. "Orders, sir?" Lily asked quietly. Admiral Chandler stared at the empty space where the human ship had been, his mind racing. "Send recovery ships to secure the pirate fleet. Update all defense protocols. And someone check the cafeteria replicators." Davis's antenna twitched again. "What do we put in the official report about the Phantom?" "The truth, Commander," Chandler said firmly, though his tone carried a sense of reluctant resignation. "For once, let's try telling the truth, even though I highly doubt anyone will believe it." His crystalline form sagged slightly, as if burdened by the weight of what they'd just witnessed. "And add a personal note. Maybe it's time we reconsidered how we assess human technological capabilities before they decide to show us more than just 2.3% of what they can do." Tracking a ship that could manipulate reality itself proved far more challenging than Admiral Mark Chandler had anticipated. The Phantom had left behind a trail of quantum distortions across 3 star systems, and his fleet had been in pursuit for the past 6 days. "Contact!" Lieutenant Lily Harper called out from her station on the bridge of the Crystalline Dawn. "The Phantom just appeared in the Epsilon cluster." Chandler leaned forward in his command chair. "All ships, battle formation Sigma. Remember, this is a diplomatic contact, not an engagement." The fleet of 15 warships accelerated toward the coordinates. The Phantom hung motionless against the backdrop of a binary star system, its black hull absorbing the light from both suns, as if the stars themselves had no effect on it. "Sir," Commander Ethan Davis reported, "the Phantom is transmitting." The message flashed across the screen. "Are we playing tag? Because we should establish ground rules. Also, your quantum wake trackers need calibration. We left those false trails on purpose. They've been leading us on a wild goose chase." Chandler's eyes widened in realization. "Testing our capabilities, responses, and our resolve," he thought. Before he could give further orders, the Phantom disappeared again. This time, it reappeared directly between 2 of their destroyers, close enough to reveal the strange, swirling patterns rippling across its hull. "Gravitational anomaly," Lily shouted. "They're messing with local space-time." The space around the Phantom began to twist, stars bent around it, their light warping in impossible patterns. 2 of their destroyers were gently pushed apart by forces that defied all logic and sensors. "No damage to our ships," Davis reported, his wings buzzing rapidly. "They manipulated gravity itself to move our destroyers, but they did it without stressing their hulls. The precision required for such an action." The Phantom disappeared again, only to reappear simultaneously in 3 different locations. "Multiple contacts!" Lily called out, her tentacles racing over the console. "But which one is real?" "They're all real," Davis said, his voice strained. "And none of them are. It's quantum superposition on a macroscopic scale. The ship exists in multiple states until we attempt to interact with it." One of their cruisers, the Star Piercer, launched a volley of tracking probes. The probes passed through all 3 versions of the Phantom, and then, unexpectedly, transformed into small robotic puppies that barked in Morse code. "The probes are transmitting a message," Lily announced, maintaining her composure despite the absurdity. "It says, 'Nice try. Points for creativity. The puppies are yours to keep.'" Chandler watched, incredulous, as the robotic puppies bounded through space, somehow managing to bark in the vacuum. "They're toying with us, sir." A new voice interrupted, Captain Mia Vex of the Nightblade. "We're picking up energy readings from all 3 Phantoms. They're building to unprecedented levels." The 3 versions of the Phantom began spinning, forming a triangle of motion. Space itself seemed to fold within the triangle, creating a twisting tunnel of light. "What are they doing?" Chandler demanded, his voice tinged with both frustration and fear. "Space-time vortex," Davis said, his voice filled with awe. "The energy required to create and control this should be impossible." The vortex stabilized, and the Phantom, now a single ship again, entered the tunnel, which remained open. A new message flashed across their screens. "We found a shortcut to the Kina Nebula, far more scenic than conventional FTL. Watch out for the quantum eddies, though. They tickle." "Do they want us to follow them through that?" Captain Mia Vex asked over the comm. "Into a tunnel they ripped through space-time?" Chandler clicked his mandibles. "They've had countless opportunities to destroy us. Instead, they've shown us wonders. Commander Davis, what's your take? The humans are teaching us, sir, Davis replied. Each demonstration reveals new possibilities. They're not just showcasing their superiority, they're showing us what we could achieve. The tunnel pulsed with an invitation as the robotic puppies, still barking cheerfully, flew into it. All ships, follow the puppies, Chandler commanded. The fleet entered the tunnel, and reality bent around them in ways that caused their navigation systems to falter. Colors not of their universe painted patterns on their hulls, and several crew members reported an odd sensation of tasting mathematics. When they emerged, they found themselves in the Carina Nebula, a journey that should have taken weeks, completed in moments. The Phantom waited by a newly born star. Beautiful, right? The message came. We thought you'd enjoy the view. Also, we upgraded your sensor arrays during transit. They're now 42% more efficient. They modified our ships while we were in their space-time tunnel? Captain Mia Vex asked, her voice a mixture of shock and awe. Confirmed, Davis replied. All ships now have improved sensor capabilities. They even left detailed maintenance documentation with diagrams. The Phantom spun in a playful way before transmitting again. Chase is fun, but we should talk soon. Your civilization is ready for the next step, mostly. Still need to work on your sense of humor and coffee. What you serve in your cafeterias is a crime against caffeine. Sir, Lily called, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations building around the Phantom again. Let me guess, Chandler said with a sigh. They're about to disappear again? Right you are. Gold star for the Admiral. One last thing before we go, the message continued. Check your databanks. We left you a gift. Just a little hint about quantum tunneling technology. Consider it a graduation present. Class dismissed. The Phantom twisted in on itself, morphing into a shape too complex to comprehend, then vanished. Several crew members later swore it had winked at them. Orders, sir? Lily asked, her voice soft. Admiral Chandler stared at the spot where the Phantom had been, then at the upgraded sensor displays, and finally at the robotic puppies now performing synchronized swimming patterns in space. Send a message to High Command, he said after a pause. Tell them we need to completely revise our approach to human relations and our cafeteria menus. And the puppies, sir? Keep them, Chandler added, watching them play tag with photons. Something tells me they'll be useful for our sensor operators. He smiled. Besides, I think I'm starting to like them. 2 days after the chase through the quantum tunnel, Admiral Mark Chandler sat in his private quarters aboard the Crystalline Dawn, analyzing the gift the Phantom had left in their databases. Commander Ethan Davis and Lieutenant Lily Harper were with him, trying to decipher the quantum tunneling data. This is revolutionary, Davis said, his wings buzzing with excitement. The humans didn't just make a technological leap, they completely altered their understanding of reality. A chime rang, signaling an incoming transmission. Text appeared. Ready for the final lesson? Chandler sat up straighter in his chair. Can we trace the signal? No need, came a human voice as the Phantom materialized outside their viewport. We're right here. For the first time, the Phantom opened a direct communication channel. On their screen, a human woman sat in what looked like a captain's chair made of flowing light. Greetings, Admiral Chandler. I am Captain Maya Chen of the USS Shinger, though you know us better as the Phantom. Chandler's crystalline form reflected the light from the screen. Finally, a proper introduction. Though I notice your ship's name has changed again. Maya laughed. The ship's name changes because the ship itself exists in a state of quantum flux. It's simultaneously every possible version of itself. We collapse the probability wave when we need a specific configuration. A ship that is all ships, Davis whispered. The ultimate expression of quantum mechanics. Precisely, Maya nodded. We achieved this when we stopped trying to fight quantum uncertainty and instead embraced it. The Shinger is not just a ship. It's a physical manifestation of quantum probability. But why the games? Chandler asked. Why the chase? Why not simply open diplomatic channels? Would you have believed us? Maya raised an eyebrow. Your civilization learns best through direct observation. We needed you to see, to experience, to understand. Each encounter was carefully calculated to broaden your perspective. Lieutenant Lily Harper's tentacles curled thoughtfully. The pirates, you orchestrated that confrontation, didn't you? Guilty, Maya grinned. Though the pirates were real, we just nudged them to attack at the right moment. It was a demonstration of our defensive capabilities. And the quantum tunnel? Chandler pressed. A preview of what's possible when you stop fighting space-time and learn to dance with it, Maya gestured, and the space around the Phantom shimmered. Your scientists were close to this breakthrough. You just needed a push to look at the problem differently. The ship's hull shifted, revealing layers of technology that seemed to phase in and out of existence. Parts of it appeared to be made of pure mathematics given form. The gift, Maya said, is yours to unlock. We left you, Maya continued, the foundational principles, not the full technology, of course. That would be like handing over a fusion reactor to a species that's just discovered fire, but it's enough to point you in the right direction. You're offering to guide us? Chandler asked, his tone skeptical. We're offering friendship, Maya responded seriously. Humanity has learned a great deal since we integrated quantum technology. One of the key lessons we've learned is that the universe is too vast and magnificent for any species to explore in isolation. As she spoke, the Phantom began revealing its true nature. Parts of it became translucent, unveiling machinery that spanned multiple dimensions. Energy patterns flickered across its hull in ways that made Davis's probability matrices crash. The ship you've been chasing doesn't truly exist, Maya explained. What you saw was merely one facet of what the Shinger can be. In essence, it's a quantum computer, the size of a starship, constantly recalculating its own existence. And the coffee obsession? Chandler asked, unable to resist. Maya chuckled. Some things are universal constants, Admiral. The human need for good coffee transcends even quantum mechanics. She paused, then added with a mischievous smile. Speaking of which, a small quantum distortion appeared in Chandler's office, leaving behind a steaming cup of what was unmistakably real Earth-made coffee. A peace offering, Maya said, her voice warm, and a promise of what's to come. Your civilization is standing on the edge of a new era. We would be honored to help you take that first step. Chandler stared at the coffee for a long moment, then turned his gaze out at the impossible ship hovering outside his viewport. His officers exchanged uncertain glances. Finally, he said, Captain Maya Chen, I believe this marks the beginning of a very interesting partnership. Just wait until you see what we can do with your food replicators. Maya's eyes sparkled. But first, we should address the small matter of the robotic puppies. They were intended as a temporary demonstration, but I hear your crews have become quite fond of them. They've become unofficial mascots, Davis admitted, surprisingly adept at detecting quantum fluctuations. Keep them, Maya said, a smile playing on her lips. Consider them a reminder that some of the most profound technological advancements come wrapped in unexpected packages. The Phantom, or Shinger, or whatever it truly was, began to pulse with energy once again. But this time, instead of disappearing, it extended an invitation. Would you like a proper tour, Admiral? Maya asked. We'll keep the quantum physics to a minimum, though we can't promise the puppies won't try to teach your crew to play fetch with photons again. Chandler stood, his crystalline form catching the light from the quantum ship. Captain Chen, I believe it would be foolish to refuse. As arrangements were made for the first official visit to the quantum vessel, Chandler realized that all the myths surrounding the Phantom had been true. They simply couldn't have imagined how much more astonishing the reality was. The robotic puppies, sensing the historic moment, began performing a celebratory dance in zero gravity. Somehow, they managed to bark the opening notes of both species' national anthems simultaneously. Chandler couldn't help but smile. Quantum physics, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all.